I'm very excited to see SCV as someone that we don't know anywhere near as much about as we would like to, right? And it's just because the Chinese scene isn't always super well broadcast, and if you're an unknown player in China, or like an under-the-radar player in China, it's even more difficult for us to know more about that, right? So, yeah, always find that interesting and see what he can do. In the bottom left, starting us off is Mystery Gaming's SCV.
And his opponent, always a bit of a wild card himself, even though we do know him pretty well. It is Rex in the top right. Think of Rex as a very aggressive player who, I don't want to say has been the punching bag of his region, because he certainly hasn't. He's certainly held his own, but he has constantly had to contend with the likes of Nice and Haas, and that is just difficult. That is just a difficult situation to find yourself in. They're both very different players, so it's not even like practicing a ton of Protoss or versus a ton of Protoss is like really beneficial for you. You just have to, like, both Nice and Haas are very non-standard players, but in very different ways. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, and it's kind of appropriate that SCV is a part of a team called Mystery Gaming. I just think that's quite funny that we know almost nothing about him, and he's got that Illuminati symbol on his thing. That's just very funny to me.
Yeah, it kind of has got that little bit of an amusing factor to it, right? It's Mystery. He really fits the bill for Mystery Gaming, TLDR. So I'm kind of with you, man. As he also liked playing in Mystery for a little bit here. His Probe Scout didn't come across the map super quickly to block a hatchery or anything, so I think that's always kind of intriguing too, as we get this underway.
Yeah, it's not like a necessity that you go hatch block every game, or even that you go hatch block some of the time, but I do think it is, at this level, almost always a value play. And I think even a player like Showtime, who was very stalwart in his I don't need to do this, even he started doing this. Okay. This is very interesting right here. Okay, we have to go deep into the archives, very far back, to see something like this. This is a very quick forge. Mm-hmm. And if this is what I think it is, Skillus actually played a style that revolved around this about a year and a half ago, where he would get an extremely quick +1, very quick Twilight Council off of not a whole lot, and then would have a +3 timing that was just ludicrously fast. Yep. And it was really interesting. It was like varying levels of success, but it's a neat concept.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun, it's just different, right? And obviously it's like one of those things where if you really dig deep, even deeper than that, it's very akin to the old days of when you used to go Forge Fast Expand into like 3 base Blink Stalkers, and you have the upgrade for the Blink Stalkers, and that's a lot of what this essentially looks like, just obviously in a completely different meta where we start off with 12 SCVs, because what I'm talking about was back in Heart of the Swarm. So he used to start off with 6 probes instead of 12, and obviously Forge Fast Expand itself was a thing then. But the idea is the same, that you just have a very quick +1, you get some very aggressive plays going, and there's a lot you can get out of this. It's gonna be charge, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, so what this achieves for you is obviously charge used to have that +8 burst damage. You know that, I know that, anyone who's familiar with StarCraft 2's patching knows that. And then they removed that because it was very strong. There was an immortal charge all-in that you could do against Zerg that was so difficult to stop. It was really extremely strong, and that's the main reason why they removed that. So now Zealots on charge, they used to 2-shot Lings, now they went back to 3-shotting them. But with +1 attack, you go back to 2-shotting Lings again, which means that dealing with this kind of attack is not going to be easy to do with Zealots. And in fact, this is starting to look actually more like a style that Haas played for a little while when he came, I think it was second at DreamHack Valencia in like 2019, 2018 maybe?
Yep.
2018, yeah, the one where he got like beaten by Serral, but he even took 2 games against Serral in Serral's like absolutely dominant form. That was a wild time.
Yes, the first game was a proxy hatch from Serral. That one was very interesting. But yeah, I mean, the fact that Haas made the final had everyone like absolutely baffled, and then the fact that Haas has actually taken him, like, because he went 1-0 up against Cyril as well in the finals, right? I think he, no, I think he won game 2. It was actually a 4-1 for Cyril. And he won game 2 when Cyril,
okay.
yeah, Cyril proxy hatch. But yeah, the idea was the same, where he was doing a lot of very aggressive kind of like charge builds and just hitting with a low amount of zealots, then macroing out of it. I was also in the Oracle era as well, so there was just a lot going on back then. I remember Haas beat Nurture on his run to that finals too, so...
Yes. Nurchio was baffled by this style, and it's neat to see it kind of getting a bit of a revival here. Now, this is not going to be the same thing. We are seeing Blink coming on out of this. Rex, by the way, oh boy, he just had 9 Overlords in production at once right there. That is not really what you want. That is a little overkill right there. And part of what makes this style so difficult to deal with is that it feels like you're being all in, and it's really tough to get a handle on. Now, we do have a Spore Crawler that was sniped down earlier. Where are the spores right now? Okay, there's one in the third, one in the natural. So this will get dealt with. And yeah, there's the first DT getting taken down. DT in the natural, it's able to get a little bit of damage. SCV is so far ahead in workers. I mean, he's going to have Blink in +2 to deal with any kind of counterattack. This feels like a really good situation for SCV if he can keep his opponent back for a little bit.
This is a great example of just doing something your opponent isn't familiar with, and their response not being, perfect can really have like a massive effect. And of course, if you can counterattack and do very well here as Rex, then brilliant. But, like you say, Blink and +2 sets you up well for this defense against the counterattack, and if you can hold this off, you are in an amazing spot. The Zealots are still on the other side, by the way, so they get to bounce straight back in toward the natural expansion, while those other units were coming across the map as well. Just a lot of fun stuff going on here as our Zealots continue to go running. Ling's trying to get a wrap around, and they are going to get a wrap around to clean this up. So that's nice, but it's obviously given SCV even more preparation time, as Rex is doing nothing but building units. So any moment you buy for yourself here as SCV is a brilliant one.
Yeah, and I think Rex has recognized that you don't need to necessarily out-macro your opponent if you just kill them, Like, yes, SCV has got himself into a great position economically, but will he have any chance against this kind of an attack? It feels pretty tough right now. Roach Speed is going to complete. The Overseers will be important targets, because if SCV can snipe those down, which he does grab one of them right there, I mean, DTs are going to be extremely effective on the defense. And now there's just the one Overseer, no more being reproduced at this point. We do see a little run by coming into the natural, but it looks like SCV has the block. Cancel on the 4th base. Yeah, this is... oh, there's the Overseer. Nice snipe right there. Okay, now the DTs instantly warp in. Another Overseer coming on in, but this is going to be out buying a lot of time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is also just a case where it's like, Rex still needs to do serious damage, right? He is very behind in workers, 20 behind still. He's starting to drone up a little bit at this point, but he's also losing some workers also across the map. And I would generally say that still we're in this position where SCV is looking good. Just keep on building up. You've got +3 attack on the way. This is maybe a little bit too far forward to be with these Stalkers, but that's okay. We're beginning to blink back. We're beginning to get out of trouble there. A few more Lings, Roaches, and Ravage continue to chase through, and the Stalkers still just trying to retreat on out.
Yeah, there is still just the one Overseer, and he's not like putting it in the safest position. You got to be so careful with this. I'd really like to have a second and maybe even third Overseer here, kind of just waiting in reserve, and there's one at the back. But as you say, he's droned back out of this. But now +3 weapons. It is 3-0 versus 0-0. The Evo Chamber is going to be finishing as +3 attack comes online. This is a silly, dummy thick upgrade lead.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. The upgrades are really astounding. And the thing is as well, like Rex's advantage is army supply. The one thing I'd love to see SCV do right now is just get some, well, he's added Anarch on, but that's the general idea. Get some splash damage, because honestly, like, you are in such a good spot. Your upgrades are great, your work account is great, your opponent clearly can't kill you right now. Get a little bit of tech, and honestly, you can kill, end this game with a bigger fight with a little bit of tech involved, just a little bit down the line. So if SCV can identify that, then brilliant. You do see those Stalkers blinking back away from this Roach Ravager here, going to try and come back up the right-hand side. First Archon is going to go down pretty quickly, and that's why I would like to see more than just the one. Because again, if you get to like 2 or 3, say you get like 3 or 4 Archons and like a couple of Immortals or something, this army of Rex really just disappears. It cannot contest at that stage. So yeah, definitely something I would like to see, but obviously so far we're just not seeing at all.
Yeah, no, and even just in terms of army value, despite the army supply advantage, army value is pretty much dead even, which, well, I mean, Rex, he can't add that much more supply to his army. He he can add another 22 supply, but SCV still has 50 more supply to fill out in terms of army, and he is going double robo. Either Colossus or Disruptors would be a great decision in this situation. I don't think there's a wrong answer. Disruptors are probably going to be better overall, but the Colossi are easier to control. And I'm basing this off the fact that I know nothing about how good of a player SCV is. And I mean, there is an art to controlling Disruptors for sure at the absolute top level. Like they're not the most complicated units, but Colossus are certainly a little bit easier to handle.
That's very true, as our Stalkers dodging away from some Biles once again. Rex, I mean, really is A, maxing out, and B, getting a lot of the other upgrades and tech online, but still only 65 workers. Like, his bank is never going to be huge, and a lot of the time you expect that Zerg economy to give you the chance to instantly rebuild. I don't know if Rex is ever going to get there, and the problem is your kind of army isn't meant to win in one big fight against a Protoss force, and that's the big issue, because if you're not winning in one big fight, even with the extra 15 army supply that would have been workers otherwise, then you're in trouble because you don't have the rebuild potential. So, still worried heavily for Rex, who is going to split a few units off, look for the counterattack. He has Stalkers warped in. I mean, the Banes don't even have speed yet, so this is going to be a very sad little counterattack that does nothing at all.
Yeah, and with the +3, the Stalkers are two-shotting the Banes, which is something you don't see every day at this stage. Low Banelings being two-shotted by Stalkers is a very weird thing to see as just a concept, you know? It's just very strange. We are going to see the double Disruptor production really kicking in, and that means SCV supply is going to be quite good. We do see an attack in the natural, but once again, Stalkers, a little bit of static defense. This is a very cost-efficient defense from SCV. Funnily enough, Rex is actually ahead in resources lost, but in terms of the state of the game, it is absolutely SCV who completely has the opportunity. Now, Rex, he's put a lot of gas into this army. He's got a ton of Ravagers, a ton of Banelings. It will still come down to the fight, and if SCV's Disruptor shots aren't good, there is still a chance for Rex, but it is going to be a difficult situation, and that's a decent Disruptor shot to start off. Second one does get dodged, but this is looking so scary. And it's 3-2 upgrades now in about 10 seconds.
I feel this Disruptor shot should have been so much better, by the way. It just stopped as the units moved left, and it was just like, I'm happy with like a Ravager or so. It's like, no, you could have had so much more. This Disruptor shot straight down the middle as well, just flips a few of the Banelings. And over on the left side, the run-by attempt, or whatever this was from Rex, shut down as well. Also an Overseer. And again, SCV is maxed out with Disruptor. I mean, with just a much better army. At the end of the day, let's see how the fight goes, as these Banelings will be trying to find something to help out. I mean, this attack of SCV on the left side is going to drag some units out the way as well. It's going to get very intriguing over the next few moments. We'll see how this little counterattack does, as we do also still try and make things happen with the big push on the top.
Yeah, SCV right now, it's funny because it feels like this game should be over on paper, but because we know so little about SCV, we're not entirely sure. We do see an attack on the bottom side. Base does go down. Disruptor shots getting a lot of Banelings right here, and another Ravager will fall. Oh, that's a... Well, once again, that was like almost a bit of a whiff, but that's a pretty good Disruptor shot. And even with the quote-unquote whiffs, there's still more than enough to get the job done. Yeah. These are 3-2 Blink Stalkers. They will not be beaten by 0-0 Roaches and Ravagers. It's not happening.
I honestly think SCV would be better just to stop controlling the Disruptor shots at some point, because, like, he keeps lining up the perfect shot, then he's like, to the left. And it's like, no, there's nothing to the left. It's like maybe he's expecting Rex to split, and so he looks silly when it's actually maybe a good call. But like, it does look silly when Rex doesn't split, because then it does just look like you're sabotaging yourself. Either way, Group More, Roach Ravager going to get caught. We've kind of known that this is kind of where it goes to. Like, this army of the Zerg is not able to sustain against this Protoss force that looks like this. And, you know, we've taken the steps in the right direction as SCV. We added on Disruptors. We added on some splash damage. That's what we were looking for to make sure SCV was going to be absolutely okay here. And that's absolutely where we've ended up as well. So it is looking absolutely stellar for SCV. Maxed out against 140, and SCV, somewhat unknown Chinese Protoss, is on the verge of winning game one. And this elimination match, remember, the loser of this is out. Great Disruptor on the Banelings once again. Although now that the Disruptors might all die, honestly, I feel like we're not that far away from the Lings, from the Stalkers just turning around and winning the game anyway.
Oh, they certainly can. They absolutely will, in fact, if they just choose to fight. By the way, the accidental swarm host is going to get found and taken out, so a little bit of a favor right there. SCV doing for Rex, but it does not matter because you can't overcome that kind of an advantage. And SCV, he's on the verge of knocking out Rex. That would be a very unexpected result. And you talked about it a little bit. With Rex not having the greatest showing against Protoss just yet, I mean, this would be a huge result if SCV were to knock out Rex.
That would actually be astounding. Just for the fact that SCV comes in and looks so good when we've known so little about them. So yeah, that would be really something quite spectacular, if you ask me. As we are going to get ourselves hopefully into this lobby in just a couple of moments. And kickstart into our next game without too much of a delay. So, a couple moments, you got this on set up and ready to rumble.
Yeah, this is a weird game already. Now we do have to say that Rex, he fumbled that a fair bit. You know, he left those overseers really exposed when he had like a 55 army supply lead. He was absolutely going for a move that could have been a kill move. And he let 2 overseers get sniped. He didn't have any backups. Now, what you can do in a situation like this is when you know your opponent is going for something like that, like they're using DTs as kind of a linchpin of their defense. You have 1 overseer. You keep it kind of with the army, and then you can have 1, 2. Honestly, having 3 overseers just in reserve is not a bad decision. Not a bad decision at all. Because especially when your opponent shows that they're trying to snipe the overseer specifically, like you need to have something like that. Now, it was still going to be +2 blink stalkers, but at the very least, Rex has a fighting shot. And honestly, I mean, with like a 55 army supply lead of Roach Ravager, it's really difficult to make that defense happen, like even with +2 in blink.
Yep. No, absolutely. No, there's a lot that can be done here as we ready ourselves up into this next match. Let's have a look and see what will go down from our red circle in the bottom right. Time to turn it around, otherwise you're out of this season of the ESL SC2 Masters. It's Rex.
And his opponent looking to pull off a stunning upset and put himself into the qualifying match on, I think that would be on Sunday. It is Mystery Gaming's SCV.
I believe you're correct because Swiss Round 4 plays over today and tomorrow, and then the entirety of Swiss Round 5 plays on Monday. Not Monday, Sunday. That's the one. Weekends. So.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there'll be 3 qualifying matches. So the way that it works for anyone who is unfamiliar is you have your situation with basically every player has to win 3 matches and not lose 3 matches. If you win 3 matches, you are into the playoffs. If you lose 3 matches, you are out. Both of these players are currently at 1 and 2 in series, so they cannot afford to lose any matches or they're out. And if they win 1 more, then they put themselves in this position where they can qualify. So that is the situation they're in. They're in a do or die situation just to try and get back into it. By the way, this is going to be, this was gas hatch pool. This is a super fast gas timing. I don't. Okay. Oh. I don't know what this.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess we'll see what Rex does with it. It feels as though we're just gonna have link speed start up at exactly when the pool is done, but a little bit before that, right? Because gas hatch pool will have the gas earlier than usual. Because if you just go hatch gas pool, you have 100 gas right on time. But this is going to be a little bit extra, and then he just pulls out.
Yeah, but
no idea, actually.
And he doesn't start link speed. Okay, there we go. Okay, I guess he was waiting for the probe to move away. So this if he started that link speed right away, there is an opportunity to find something with a very quick link speed. Everyone's used to a 330 link speed timing. This would finish up about 15 seconds before that, and we are seeing a lot of lings being produced. Okay, this is going to be an all-in. I think he's going to pull like 6 to 8 drones with this. Ooh, and SCV is going for a Twilight Council. That means he will not have a Stargate, will not have an Oracle. This could be tricky, but we're going to see. It also could just be you build like 12 to 16 lings, try and get into your opponent's base, and just use the ling speed to harass and be an absolute jerk. And that's okay. That's what he's going to go for. It's going to be 10 lings. This is so weird. This is such a weird build.
Adept is going to show itself as well, by the way, so we'll see if it wants to shade. It will not. There's a few lings already going across the map, and there's obviously not a full wall off just yet, so potential for these lings to get in and cause some trouble. Probe pulls over, and the probe of SCV does get the full wall off, but lings get a decent surface area connection on the Stalker, and the Stalker's just like, come on in then! Well, ling speed isn't done yet, so I guess that ain't so bad, but it's definitely going to be a worse decision sometime soon, and now even more lings get in. Huh. I really don't know where this is going.
Well, he didn't start the ling speed right away, so it was like maybe 6 seconds that he missed out on. Oh, that wall, that crappy little wall that was a little bit too wide will let these lings in. It's actually going to be a big deal. Nice surround right there on the Stalker. Imagine he'd kept 2 more lings alive right now. This becomes so much more of a hassle to deal with. But it is still going to be super annoying. And Rex, you know, if he can multitask really, really well, he could get a fair number of pickoffs. Also, SCV has not yet started his Twilight Council upgrade. This has discombobulated him very successfully.
Yeah, he is.
If nothing else.
Absolutely discombobulated, and all the rest of it at this point is, I mean, with all rights as well, though, I mean, it's just not really been a normal sort of setup or situation at all. See, there's a few Adepts coming over. Ling gonna get chased around. It's definitely thrown you pretty heavily because, yeah, this Twilight's done nothing at all. Finally, we're gonna get Resonating Glaive started, but this is very late, and I mean, Rex is already building Ling Roach for an attack that is well, a minute plus away. So hard to imagine SCV's gonna do anything. The only thing I could say is that maybe Rex is going too early on these units, and that he could have got another round of drones out and been in an even better position while still being very set to defend.
And he's getting a Spine Crawler. This is such a strange scenario to me. What this makes me wonder is if he is going to commit like a significant number of units to a counterattack and then also defend at home. Because he has seen that this wall at the natural is bad. But SCV has kind of fixed it with that pylon. That will mean that an Adept is going to be able to wall this here. That pylon on the right side has kind of fixed this wall, so to speak. And now Rex drones a little bit. It really feels like Rex does not have a good handle on this matchup right now, and this just doesn't feel comfy.
No, that's pretty pretty wild. We're going to see the Prism and the Adepts moving out. Maybe chance for the Lings to counterattack through. The Adept doesn't look super well walled, but I guess we'll see in a moment as it's good enough. And the Lings will just hit the wall off.
Okay, yeah, he warped in afterwards, and now, I mean, he's just going to waste all these Lings here. There is the attack on the main, or on the other side of the map, but Rex should have pulled back like a decent bit ago. He loses 9 Lings when he could have just seen the Adept, seen that he isn't getting in, and just backed away, and it would have been absolutely the correct call. Rex definitely struggling a little bit here, and now SCV is going to be going into a robotics bay. Now, there is a big commitment to these Adepts, so they're not going to get the most value for sure. And Rex still has a lair. He still has a lot of drones, but he could have been in so much better of a position than he is.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Like, there's no doubt about it. It could be just a completely different scenario here for him as Fatal Nest does come down from Rex as well. If he just did everything the other way around, he would be on, like, the same amount of army and probably would have been back to droning back up to, like, 55 plus workers already, right? That's the difference. It's just the order of things that's been so off, and I think he's been thrown by kind of... I mean, he threw his opponent into, like, kind of his build kind of being a bit off, but in doing that, he's kind of, you know, then responded as though his opponent was playing perfectly, which is obviously not the case, and yeah, just being a bit of a messy one to start out this game number 2. Rex needs to sharpen up and get back on track because, you know, he's got no time to mess around, man. He is on do-or-die situations, so it's time to start doing.
Yeah, yes, very much so. And the transition out of this for SCV is going to be the double disruptor drop. This is something Max Pax loves playing quite a bit. We are going to see, oh, that's a very nice little bit of harassment coming in from SCV. Gets himself into a good position around the Spore Crawler, able to pick off 3 drones, and doesn't even lose an Adept. Now the War Prism is going to go back home, sub out those Adepts, and will go for the disruptor drop. Behind us, it's going to be a transition into Colossus. This is something I wouldn't expect, because in order for the Adepts to be effective, you do need pretty much constant disruptors being fired out and pushing the Zerg army back in order for the Adepts to concentrate their fire. But there is still a lot of potential. This is an army that can go... Like this fight that'll be coming up is a fight that can go super hard in either favor, depending on how the control goes, and it's likely going to be a feast or famine type of situation. Oh, okay, that's a pretty nice disruptor shot to start things off, that's for sure.
I was terrified those Adepts Shade was going to finish, then the disruptor was going to go off, and you're just going to blow up your own Adepts. We had that happen in a tournament at some point. I think it was it Katowice maybe, or season finals. There was a point where
that was classic, right?
Yeah, was it classic against a laser in Katowice?
I think so, and that was the one where a laser ended up reverse sweeping him. Ooh, double disruptor shot. Oh, he loses one. Does get 5 drones, but here, that's the thing. That's the thing about these disruptor drop plays. You need to be perfect with them in order to not lose those disruptors. Still, I mean, this is... I think I like SCV's position. However, I would like to see him try and get some value with these Adepts. Since he wasn't able to trade them out with a push with the help of those disruptors, I would really like to see him, you know, maybe spread them into like groups of 4 or 6 and try and sneak in. However, Rex has a lot of good Overlord positioning, so he's well prepared for that. But this is... I'm not even sure whose position I like more, because Rex doesn't have a great economy. He's only on 3 bases, just now getting his 4th. But at the same time, SCV has a lot of army supply that isn't that valuable in a straight-up fight.
Yep. That's very true, as our army of Rex settles on the right side, Prism hanging out overhead, and our Lingbane force of Rex also trying to figure out what we want to get up to here. And +2 attack, our charge, finally upgrade, all produced and into play in just a few more moments right now. So all of that coming up, we do have ourselves the extra Lings and the Banes all coming through too. So Rex is getting a lot of stuff ready and getting set to kind of rally upwards towards the top side of the map now.
Yeah, it's I do like this little Lingbane setup he's got on that side. And there we go. We do see some Adepts trying to find an opening, but like I said, Rex, excellent Overlord position, jumps on this immediately. Did the disruptor drop do anything there? No, actually it's just an empty War Prism. So you're just going to use it for Warp-ins. Okay. And it will be back into double disruptor play. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'm liking generally what I'm seeing from SCV. Yeah, he looks very confident in this matchup right now. Even if the control leaves a little bit to be desired, the fundamentals are definitely there.
Absolutely. Temple Archives is the setup next as well, and obviously just as we get towards being maxed out from both players, I still don't love the fact that Rex has got such a low drone count. He's constantly playing off a lower drone count than anyone else would. And again, the issue with that is your army's just not designed to take one massive fight and win in one fell swoop. It's designed to win over multiple fights. That's how Zerg armies work.
Yeah.
See, that's why you play with bigger drone counts, and with bigger drone counts, you have the bank to rebuild instantly, and the army supply you're missing doesn't usually matter. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what he can do, because if you mess up, you can obviously still, you know, lose the game in one fight as SCV. But in theory, if SCV controls this decently enough, this should be extremely difficult for Rex to do properly. And oh my god, did we just get all the probes that transferred?
Yeah,
oh
and the other mineral line. I didn't even see the Baneling run by on that 3rd base, but he just killed 42 probes.
Yeah.
And you talk about messing up. I was going to say, oh man, I'm really liking how SCV's defending this, but he did not anticipate the other units coming on in. Rex just took a gigantic lead. He literally just halved his opponent's economy, but can he deal with the big attack here? Ooh, nice force fields. That's gonna wipe out this entire mineral line, and all of a sudden now SCV can just retreat. But can he retreat? Oh, disruptor shot, good split, and the target fire. Banelings.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is there enough here for Rex? He is gonna crash these Colossus. SCV getting absolutely crushed here. There was one clutch disruptor shot that got taken down just before it connected, and that really feels like it snowballed this fight super hard.
Yep, no, that was exactly what I was going to say. There was like the disruptors were almost perfect, and if he knew it was about to happen, he could have done it a little bit sooner, but he just didn't. So unfortunately, he doesn't get much out of that. I'm just going to show the Baneling flank from the other side, just to watch all those probes die before we hop into the next game. I was a moment too late. Let me go back a little further. Because yeah, basically all the probes ran from the right side, and they pull into the third base mineral line, as the Banelings are showing up on that third base mineral line as well, and SCV just did not do anything correct about that. Yeah, that was pretty brutal, to say the least.
Very well done from Rex right there, because that's what forced SCV to move directly across the map and create that situation where Rex could swamp the army. Now, I do think that SCV had the army he needed to potentially win the game right then and there. Like, with those disruptors, with 3 Colossus, he has +2. I think he had a War Prism ready to go to warp in there. 41 probes is obviously not amazing, but you can still reinforce in a meaningful way. But he got the counter damage enough to actually let him play a macro game, and then he kind of got a little bit complacent with his army positioning and army movement, left the Colossus super exposed, didn't kind of track his opponent's army movement in general, and then Rex just kind of swarmed him from multiple angles, got in on top, denied the disruptor shot, and well, that was all she wrote from that point. SCV was one good fight away from eliminating Rex right there, though, I think.
Yeah, Rex was really good to be super quick moving up the left side, and I actually think that SCV's mistake was just not moving forward. Like, he killed the base and he's starting to back away, and I'm like, actually, A, I don't want you to back away, but B, if he keeps moving forward, Rex doesn't get the chance to, like, do the surprise wraparound, because SCV is much more aware of, like, I'm pushing, I'm fighting, I know where your army is as well. Whereas by trying to retreat, he put himself in the position where Rex could come in from the top, the side, and the bottom, and do it when SCV was maybe looking back at home, not immediately ready. So I think just kind of SCV double shot in the foot there. And yeah, unfortunately, it does go to game 3. Well, unfortunately for SCV, great for us. We are getting all of the games today. We're going to go for the 36 map day at this point, Steadfast. We're already 9 for 9. Just got to get the other 9 series after this to go to game 3 as well.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good. Top right side, our blue Protoss player, it's SCV.
And his opponent, with the surprise jump and the big Baneling run by, it is Rex. Yeah, that really feels like that was a little bit more experience coming through. And it's going to sound weird because, you know, it was not like a beautiful move from Rex, but it was like he was in a bad position. I think most people could agree that he was in an uncomfortable position for a lot of that game, but he never really panicked. He gave himself good opportunities there to set up for some big opportunity. Well, he gave himself opportunities to get opportunities. He gave himself the opportunity to win from a position of discomfort, and it just jumped as soon as SCV made that army movement positioning. And, you know, recognizing your win condition is absolutely an important thing to be able to do in StarCraft 2. Now, we are going to be seeing out of Rex. He started off with a weird build in the previous game. He's going to be going for a gas pool here. I believe that was 17 gas, 17 pool, or something like that. I wasn't paying attention to the exact numbers, but either way, it is a speedling expand. And SCV, I mean, he does scout, he does figure out what's going on, and he's going to go for the quick cybernetic score before the Nexus, which is the correct response. But the question does remain, what is the follow-up going to be from Rex? And he's continuing to mine full gas saturation. This could be a Baneling bust.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously showed a bit of aggression in the last game as well. So, yeah, I mean, may very well just go full out into that commitment. You don't keep mining gas like this unless something's going to happen. Either a Baneling Burst or just a Roach Run, you just go for a very fast Roach Lingle in. Maybe there's something about his opponent's build that he identified as being, you know, very abusable, and he's just going to go Lair instead. So, it had to be something, and it is just going to be that Lair coming up.
This could be a Ling Drop play. And with the second Overlord going across the map to the right side, I think that's exactly what we're going to see. Now, if it is going to be that, he probably should have stopped gas mining because you only need 25 gas to build that Dropper Lord. But he is definitely going to be putting on a lot of pressure. There we go. He stops mining now. I think completely stops mining. Yeah, takes all 3 off gas. Oh, man, this could be very difficult to deal with. The Stargate from SCV was super late. He prioritized a gateway and a shield battery at the front. This means, like, there is a lot of potential for this to get a lot of damage done. I am a little bit worried for SCV as Rex busts out a very specific build in this game number 3.
Yep. Absolutely, as you just see this Overlord going to get into Dropper Lord mode, and, well, a chance to obviously dive up into this base, and, yeah, the couple of Adepts don't really know where they want to be. There's a Void Ray on the way out, which is actually very nice because it can kill the Dropper Lord to stop future. And, oh, we do have the Adepts kind of there! Oh, you should have just gone forward, no? Like, but you should have gone straight away because you could have killed 1 or 2 Lings as they pop out. Instead, now it's like you let them all come out, and it's just much easier for Rex to get something done from this. Although I'd say so far, obviously not just say, but absolutely the case, he's just not doing anything. So this actually turns out very well. The Pro Pull there doesn't grab the Lings or anything, but yeah, they're all 1 hit from death. And yeah, with the Void Ray, you will just kill off the Overlord. So that's going to be the end of this harass, and this entire investment from Rex does zilch, 0, nada, nothing. Like, it was not good.
No, it is a glorified, ultra expensive scout is what it ends up being. And, oh man, if he actually gets, no, don't please chase down the Dropper Lord. Hello?
Yeah,
SCV.
Bro, it's got to be
Please?
somewhere. He doesn't know where it is though, right? And he's just lost the direction. He was actually so close to just running into vision of it as well. He does drop his 3rd base, and Rex going to follow this up with a Hydra Den, which I do not hate. We'll see what comes off of the... I was going to say, what comes off the Twilight Council. It's going to be Glaives, and I actually kind of like that because Glaives against Lings and Hydras, well, Adepts shred everything about that army, so this could still be very good for SCV.
Yeah, this is going to be a really weird situation. This feels like a Mio Micah type game right now. Oh, this is a weird shade. Very weird shade. He just, in terms of value, it's extremely low for what he spends for what he gets, but he does get a scout on a Hydra Den. Now,
yeah,
that's not worth it for the Adepts' loss in theory, but it lets him know that, like, okay, I need to prioritize unit production and I need to figure out what is going on. He's going to need quite a few shield batteries, I think, at this 3rd base. Yep. Well, maybe not even quite a few. Just I think at least 2 though. I think at least 2, and you should be okay.
He just needs any amount, let's face it, right? Like, right now, he's got absolutely nothing to help him defend against this. The Void Ray doesn't do anything to help defensively here either. And as Rex makes a whole bunch of Overlords, he's going to be good to produce units from here on out in this game. A few probes transfer over to the 3rd. We need some static defense, man. You saw the scout on the Hydra Den. There's only one thing that really means. No one is macroing with Hydras. Like, you know, like, it's not, even if they want to.
From this commitment.
Yes, exactly. Even if they want to, it's at least somewhat aggressive first. Oh man, we're in the middle of
please don't attack in.
Yeah, I think SCV's making all the wrong calls with the information he has.
Oh god, this could, oh no. He is in such a good position on paper. If he just doesn't commit, he's adding on the robotics bay. Oh, please don't shade. Please, no, shading forward. He is going to be able to snipe down some Hydras and, like, instantly gets a lot of them, but he's going to lose every single Adept.
Yeah, you got 4 Hydras, 15 Lings, and you get yourself all of your Adepts gone. RoboBay on the way up. I mean, just again, if you have batteries and Adepts at home, you can do so well here because the Lings will obviously take a lot of shots before the Hydras even get in range at first. And well, now you've actually got the Adepts out of position. They actually have to recall back over here. The Lings and Hydras all joined up. They're ready to go into this fight. The Adepts have some serious work to do. Super Battery will keep them alive. And again, it just makes you wonder. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a lot of Adepts. And he might still be okay, man. Like, if he doesn't die right now, he does have a 20-worker lead. First Colossus on the way. It just felt like he's just made this a lot more difficult for himself than it needed to be. You can see Rex looking for different directions, and maybe the natural is an attacking point here. Force the Adepts away from the battery on the 3rd base. That absolutely looks like it's going to be the plan. And of course, if you don't warp in immediately here to block the entry, that Stalker ain't going to last long with Hydras hitting it.
No, and that is 2 gateways that could be depowered right here. Lings do get into the main base. They're going to not really have a good target. They will go off the robotics bay, but it's the main fight that is the big issue here. We're going to see the Adepts just getting gunned down by these Hydras. Colossus will join the fight, but it is going to be without extended thermal lance. Now, these are low-range Hydras, so they will struggle against this. Shield batteries are completely out of energy, though, and SCV, his army has been pretty much completely cleaned up before the Colossus joins up. This should have been such a not effortless hold, but it should have been such a good time. Oh, battery overcharge. Yeah, he's got to retreat.
Yeah,
the Adepts I think he's fine. I think
yeah,
you're right.
He is good at the moment. Just the Colossus showing up in general is amazing. Okay, I mean, sure, I get that you want to get on those Hydras, but this is super scary because your Colossus, if you lose these Adepts, the Colossus is very much so on its own. And again, we're playing a very dangerous game right now as SCV. My goodness, he's giving.
And he doesn't even have another Colossus on the way. He still moved forward with the Colossus for an extra 2 seconds there, just to be like, oh, maybe I can get a little more. That was one of his 4 army units.
Yeah. A, continue Colossus production ASAP. B, I think he still might be in trouble when Lurkers hit the field. C, his economy is so freaking good that if he just spend all of his money and gets it all mined and keeps that going, he should just be fine no matter what kind of units he makes. So yeah. It's kind of a ridiculous state that we're in. Rex just finds himself behind every game with having to kind of pull off miracles to get back in it. And obviously it worked out in game number 2. We'll see if it works out in this game 3. I do think the Lurker Den is the absolutely correct call. It's the one thing that just is SCV is not well set up against. Blink Stalkers aren't going to help against Lurkers, neither are Adepts. You kind of want to have charge lots, disrupt, something that can soak some Lurker shots while the rest of the army comes through, I guess. But yeah, Colossi are okay against Lurkers as well to an extent. Extended thermal lens especially should help to do a little better here.
The one thing that can be a really big issue with this army for SCV is if he doesn't get detection, and if he doesn't have detection. As it stands right now, he has not built an observer at all, and he is not getting one built. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes straight up to a War Prism and tries to push, not anticipating Lurkers. Okay, now he sees the Lurker Den. He has to build it. There we go. Observer starts up. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if he pumps out 3 observers right now, because I feel like the only win condition for Rex with 3 Colossus on the field and just the bulk that SCV has is sniping detection. That's what it feels like, because his economy has just been so bad for so much of this game.
Yeah, obviously still no 4th base or anything from Rex here. As we do have Hydra Lurker moving around the right side, not getting too aggressive yet. And we even see an Infestation Pit. Well, worth mentioning, obviously, the Lurkers do not get their upgrades until Hive is done. So these Lurkers are not even as good as you might expect Lurkers to be.
Yeah.
CV is pushing, man. Yeah, I'm just terrified every time he moves out, because it feels like he's not had a good move out this game. And I'm like, here we go again. It's like, how can I lose this game? If I move into all the Lurkers, will that be enough? It's like, oh, cool, let's maybe try that. And now just a counterattack could be very effective, because he's just sat on the left side waiting for an observer to clean out creep. And okay, Rex got to decide what he wants to do, and he does start making that move up to the right, and there's nothing defensively.
No, there isn't. Now, the static defenses will buy enough time for a recall if he decides to go for it, but recalling into a bunch of sieged Lurkers is a frightening prospect. And it looks like he is going to go for the attack, but there are a couple of Lurkers set up here. Oh, Observer does get sniped. That's a huge deal. No detection now. No detection on these Lurkers. And SCV, he still holds the supply lead, but this is now a very frightening situation that he's found himself in, and he's going to recall out. He is getting drones in the natural. The 4 Adepts did shade into the natural and eventually the main, but this... Well, I mean, this is still
good. I think
this
is
still fine for SCV.
Yeah. It's amazing because
even with everything. Yeah, no, exactly. It feels like there's been 5 situations that should have been awful for SCV, and they've all been just fine because of how bad of a setup this is for Rex.
It's a very frustrating game to cast, because I feel like everything I want to say and expect goes the other way, because these, SCV especially is kind of making life as difficult as possible for himself.
Yeah.
Because, what the left side as well, I was like, man, maybe if we can just push forward, but the thing is, in army splits like this, Lurkers are so good defensively, so you don't want to invite that to happen. You don't want to make that an option for Rex, because for him, that's a great option. Defend with Lurkers and then attack with, an army and get a base kill. Rex absolutely benefited from this, and again, that's just going to show how much of a hole Rex has been in, that even though everything went right for him in this game, it's still extremely I would say SCV favored still. The only thing I would say is it really SCV favored? Because if he keeps playing how he's playing, Rex is going to win the game. Because SCV just hasn't done anything right for a little while, and that might seem extremely harsh, but it really has been him making his own life more and more difficult this entire time.
Yes, and I think that's a good way of putting it. And okay, so the best way to describe how this game has gone is to look at the supplies and simultaneously look at the resources lost. Because SCV is decently ahead in supply and is like 2,500 resources lost behind. Like that's just because the setup for Rex has been like, he's been in an all-in state for like 7 minutes. But the only reason that he hasn't died is because SCV's maneuvers have been like, they have not been game-winning maneuvers. They have been game-losing maneuvers, but he's been in such a good position on the entirety of the game that it hasn't lost him the game. It's just continued to throw away like the opportunities he's had.
The army he has and has had should be trading efficiently as well. So, like, even if it was resources lost were even, I'd be like, man, SCV, like, what were we doing in these fights? To be, like, 2.5k down is, what the heck were we doing in these fights? And now, you know what, we're getting into all of this tech from Rex, Vipers, the Lurkers, and the Lurker upgrades especially. SCV's army's improving. He's got Disruptors galore. He's got more than ever before, but he still has to respect the fact that now these Vipers are up, and with the way these engagements and fights have been going, I think I start to favor Rex, because he has been a bit more, you know, prominent when it comes to overall engagements in this series. He has been getting more out of them, and with all the tools in play, he might have the best time he's had in this game at the very least in terms of trying to take a better fight too. These elves do get back to static defense, which is nice. They keep themselves alive. They promptly run back out of static defense. Just gotta be careful, guys.
More importantly, he does spot the army movement here. But like you said, the tools are all becoming available for Rex in an army that can really wipe out a Protoss army quickly if the Protoss doesn't approach the engagement correctly. Now, it's still on paper. We look at the armies and we still say this is probably better for SCV. But like you said, the engagements have been all more... like, Rex has taken every engagement as well as he could, and SCV has been lacking in a lot of these engagements. So with the tools equal, I gotta agree with you. I think I like this situation better for Rex as time goes on. But if SCV can find the engagements that he needs, things can switch very quickly. Now, we are going to see these Zealots on the left side. They're going to get pretty much cleaned up for, well, one drone. That is not going to help the case of cost efficiency. Now it's a 3,500 resources lost advantage. And I will say the transition to carriers is a good one.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that just absolutely guarantees you a win against the current army composition. We actually had a bunch of Lurkers. The abducts off the Vipers were A, bit slow, and B, the disruptor they abducted initially was not the one that was still firing. So we actually lost a lot of Lurkers there. That was a better fight for sure for SCV, and you got some good value out of this one. Again, I agree with what you're saying. The tech up into the carriers, amazing, because there's nothing on the map currently from Rex that deals with carriers. So it's the exact right direction to take this game. And it might even make some of these fights a bit easier for SCV in general, which might just help him out, because again, it's definitely the part of the game he's been the weakest at. So a few reasons to be excited about that. From Balins, we'll try and go this right side. Zealots will do some form of attempted survival. 9 SCVs, 9 probes do go down. And, well, we have the changelings keep on trying to move forward. We do kind of control this, well, we're kind of fighting over this watchtower, I suppose. Yeah. As the Zealot will take the vision away on the other side. Disruptor shots will just get rid of Lurkers, and I feel like we're being quite aggressive as Rex. Gonna lose 2 and all 3 Vipers. Massive catch from SCV.
That is a huge find for SCV and a massive mistake from Rex. Well, this is what SCV needs, but the Banelings getting it on top of the middle line, they actually were targeted about as poorly as they could, and they still grabbed 9 probes. That could have easily been, like 16, 17, 18 probes. We are going to see the Vipers being rebuilt, but this is now a big opportunity with those Vipers dead. A lot of creep going to get cleared out on the left side. Rex has been steadily fighting back in this game, but this is going to hurt him a lot. Now, I will say, look at SCV's probe count and look at his mineral bank. He's only on 53 probes and has no minerals to speak of. This is the absolute opposite of what we almost always see in this matchup as it gets into the carrier stage and to the super late game. It's never an issue of not having enough minerals.
Yeah.
This is so weird, though. Rex is like now massively outmining SCV. I want to take a look at the resources. Yeah, the income advantage is the weirdest graph I've ever seen, where there hasn't been like a staggering like bunch of bases going down for the Protoss.
Yeah, especially because it has just been stagnant for the Protoss, right? We've been just sort of sitting somewhat AFK on the map for a while, so you would have expected them to be way better off. Losing a bunch more probes now again, and we are going to be seeing still, I mean, a good fight from SCV. Army-wise, he's fine. It is going to be the economy that eventually kills him. Oh my god, the Vipers get donated again.
Not again. Oh.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I mean,
what is happening?
It's just a messy game, right? It is. It's messy, and obviously, you know, nerves on the line. They're both fighting for their survival in the tournament, right? The loser of this is out. You know, they're done for. It's over. So, nerves on the line. No one's playing perfectly. That's obviously very apparent at this point, and you know, that's sometimes when the best StarCraft comes out, because it wouldn't be fun if it was just one player making all the mistakes, right? The fact that both both players are making all the mistakes makes it that much more entertaining to watch, because, well, of course, it feels like a much more even game in that regard. Okay, Lings get pushed back out the right side again. Army pulling back into the center here from SCV, and a lot more Lings of Rex back up the left side again.
And we've got the accidental doofy swarm host coming in once more. SCV has been knocked back down to 4 bases again. Rex is on 5 bases. He is outmining significantly, but SCV has morphed in a ton of Archons. He's got a good number of carriers. He's got a good number of disruptors, a few Colossus. He is probably going to one punch and just hope for the best. How many Corruptors are there on the field? There's only 6 right now, 2 more in production. Oh, here comes the big blink forward. I don't know about that. That was right into Lurkers. Disruptor shots. They get a couple of connections, but is that enough to break through? The answer is going to be no initially. The lack of Vipers, though, is so brutal for Rex.
Yeah.
And he is just now rebuilding them. This is a problem.
So much efficiency that's being missed out on, right, with some of the ducks that could have gone off. Then you start to regenerate these Vipers during this time. The Protoss is repositioning. And yeah, obviously at this stage, the Protoss player is looking good. 160 to 110 army supply. You know, you're not meant to win an army fight all out in one, you know, all in one as a Zerg. We've said that throughout this series because it's been an issue for Rex when it comes to having the economy. Vipers are being found before they're even able to cast, so this one goes down again. The next couple don't have energy yet. The Lurkers just walk forward. I don't know if Rex is actually trying to take a fight here or not, because it almost looked as though he was just like hands off the keyboard for a couple moments, but actually has got his Lurkers burrowed up. 24 drones dead, but SCV just backing away for safety before he should re-engage in to win this game.
He should, which means that, of course, he's going to go home, and we've got another 15 minutes on our hands. No, this is the time to go. This is the time to go. You absolutely just caught your opponent completely out of position. Ling run by on the top side will, well, might get a cancel on this base, which would be kind of nice. I don't know about attacking down this ramp from just one angle into Lurkers, but he just probably has too much army supply that it doesn't even matter. Yeah, he absolutely does. The Archon's going to shoo the Corruptors away, and SCV is going to stun Rex and will knock him out of the tournament. SCV is going to the final.